What's going on, guys? I'm Jaye Black. This is a classic example of you having women, right, who will lead basically double lives, and how education really does not mean much. Because here you have a woman who's a principal of a school for inmates that she's supposed to be helping these young males, but she decided to prey on them, or at least one of them. And I don't believe this is the first time this has occurred. And this story has gone viral. This woman has gone from being a prestigious author, because she has wrote books, Remembering Mulatto. Okay, maybe some promo there. But this is an author. This is somebody of some kind of prestige, educated, quote unquote, sister, right? But you're trying to have a full-on relationship with a 17-year-old, and you're married. You have a whole family, but you're leading a double life. And this is a double standard that we have in society, is the fact that everybody thinks that it's the men that are preying on younger girls. But I don't see a lot of stories of male teachers having relations with students, but you do see a lot of these women. And from the stories that I've seen, these are not ugly women who are having relations with their male students. Now, let's go to this article here from NOLA.com. It says, in 2017, Christy Sampson-Kelly was hired as principal at Travis Hill School, New Orleans school for incarcerated youth, based on a sparkling resume that featured a PhD and a national acclaim in the field of special education. Now Sampson-Kelly is known for her arrest in November on a warrant accusing her of engaging in more than 700 extremely graphic phone calls with a 17-year-old inmate, according to a report by an investigator with the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office. WWL Television obtained partial transcripts of what the conversation, most of which are too explicit to publish, but can be described as intimate, at times romantic, because they are romanticizing these situations. See, she's looking for release. You got a woman who's in her late 40s. She wants to feel good about herself, right? And she's with these young guys who are probably complimenting her, and she is falling for it, right? You got these women who are probably awkward in school, book smart, never really got the attention from those guys, and it stays in their mind. No matter how attractive they become and how much attention they get from adult men, in the back of their mind, they're always them wanting the attention of the boys in high school that they never really got, right? The bad boys, so to speak. In one segment, the juvenile describes an act of oral that he would like Sampson-Kelly to perform on him. She agrees to do so according to transcripts. In another section, the juvenile says, "I want to hear your voice." She implies that she wants a part of his anatomy that is too graphic to repeat here. It's almost like a romance novel. It's almost like a romance novel. And another transcript shows the inmate asking, "How much you miss me?" Sampson-Kelly responds, "I miss you a lot. When I heard what happened, I was furious, devastated, hurt, angry." The inmate's mother said she took advantage of my child. Because the inmate is considered a crime victim, his name is withheld from this story. In an exclusive interview, WWL spoke with the young man's mother, whose name also is withheld here. Once again, how many you want to bet that the father wasn't in this young man's life? The father wasn't in this young man's life. So look where he's at 17, right? And again, This woman is living a life of a romance novel. She's having these explicit text messages with, I believe she's actually getting off on those more than anything with this young man. When he was back in youth study center, he mentioned something about a settler. The inmate's mother said, referring to street slang used by young men to describe much older romantic partners, often women who are settled with families. My exact words to him were, "That's not good. Don't." So the young men are using settlers. Maybe they'll use the wall too. Sampson-Kelly, who's 49, is married and has 4 children. Imagine what the husband is thinking. Just imagine what the husband is thinking. The inmate's mother said that she is especially disturbed that her son's relationship with the educator started when he was at the juvenile lockup. When her son first disclosed it, she said she did not know who the older woman was or the frequency and content of the phone calls. According to the affidavit for Sampson-Kelly's arrest warrant, there were a total of 762 calls from January to November of 2020. So basically a whole year. Investigators also discovered that Sampson-Kelly made 7 deposits totaling $370 into the inmate's jail account. So she was putting money on the books. She was putting money on them books, man. She manipulated my son. That's what it tells me, the inmate's mother said. The calls were made on the phone system at the Orleans Justice Center, where the teen was transferred after being held at the city juvenile lockup. The inmate, who recently turned 18, is awaiting trial as an adult on charges of attempted that and racketeering. He's a bad young man. You know, he's caught up, very much so caught up. Lon Burns, the young man's defense attorney, said the situation is even more alarming given his client's diagnosis of a learning disability. The inmate's mother said her son has been diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which may play into his issues. I'm telling you, these young men have a lot of issues, man. A lot of this stuff goes undiagnosed. You know, we do have to look at that too, as well. But this woman, I believe, has a mental illness too. Why would she do that to a child? It's about power. It is about a power dynamic. She has a power dynamic over him, and that's what she likes to see. She don't care about dealing with adult men. She would rather, especially adult men who ain't in jail, right? Who got their stuff together, because she's married. See, she's stuck in a boring life, and she wanted out of that boring life, at least in her occupation and what she was doing, and her having access to this young man. She wanted an out from her boring marriage. So all you pro-marriage guys, you can't game plan for the fact that your wife is gonna lose interest to the point to where she's trying to get with these young boys. All right, you see, why would you misguide someone? You know why she did it? Because she has specialized training in knowing that he has mental illness. Sampson-Kelly's biographical sketch, which has since been removed from Travis Hill School's website, stated that she received a master's degree from San Diego State University and a PhD from the University of Maryland. She has published a poetry book titled Remembering Mulatto and was featured panelist at Harvard Law School in 2019. Oh, what a disgrace. What a disgrace. You know, I want people to understand something. When we talk about female nature, especially me, I'm not here to just go at women who do absolutely nothing. We have a culture that has allowed women to believe that they can engage in relations with young men who are in high school, young men who are caught up in the justice system, and get no punishment. Most of these teachers, right? Most of these teachers who engage in these relationships with these teenage boys, they end up getting a slap on the wrist. Nothing ever really happens to them. After they're able to go on with their lives, whatever their short punishment, they go on with their lives like nothing happened. We have female predators out here. She's a female predator, and I don't believe this was the first time this has happened. This woman is a bored housewife who wants something different. She's the type to marry a square, but will step out of that to deal with a guy who is the exact opposite of her husband. And that's why I'm not going to be one of those people who's going to advocate towards go ahead and getting married, because you cannot game plan for the fact that your wife is going to lose interest to the point to where she's out here putting money on books, sending explicit messages about what she wants to do to this young man. Because again, she was the type to be in the book. She was the type to chase education, right? But deep down, she always lusted for the bad boys. Wouldn't surprise me at all if she cheated on her husband before. Wouldn't surprise me at all. And these women, they're so arrogant. They're so cocky. They think that they can do this and get away with it. Well, this caught up to her, and it has pretty much ruined her reputation. Will it ruin her marriage? Time can only tell.